I'm Gabriela Montero, and I'm a pianist and composer and improviser from Venezuela. I'm also a human rights activist, so I'm kind of a mixture of things. My beginnings with the piano were quite particular because I don't come from a musical family. So it was a bit of a coincidence that my mom, when I was 7 months, she went out to buy Christmas presents for the kids in the family. And she saw this little piano in a store, and she bought it for my cousin Morella, who's older than me. When my grandmother saw this little piano among all the gifts, she insisted that this piano should be for me. But I was just a little baby in my crib. The first thing I did was I started to play note by note with my second finger, which they already found kind of strange. I started to spend hours at the piano and trying to copy the songs that my mom would sing to me at night to put me to sleep. And by the time I was 1.5 years, I was playing all of these songs, lullabies, including the national anthem of Venezuela, which is also a children's lullaby. I never thought about whether this would be a profession. It was just my nature. I think I always kind of struggled with the idea that from a very early age, it's so defined who you are, and what you're going to do, because that's what you excel at. But I never really thought, this is a profession. It was more about living out my nature or my destiny. I think talent is definitely something you're born with. I think it's an ability, just like some people are very good at math or very good at sports. It's the same with music. But I do think that talent without nurture and without work and crafting what you have in a natural state into something that is much more evolved is definitely necessary. I love to improvise. I love what happens with the public. I love seeing them react or feeling them react when I'm improvising and they're surprised. I think it's a really beautiful kind of communal experience. I will always improvise because it's really the essence of who I am as a musician. I always improvise, and in fact, my mother recorded over 150 cassette tapes. It's incredible how the improvisations that I did when I was so little resemble like Prokofiev language or Hinastera or Stravinsky, composers that I hadn't heard. Improvisation was always the way that I would express, my feelings, but also what was going on around me, and it's just a very imaginary language. Composition for me begins as improvisation. So I sit down with a MIDI keyboard and I just kind of download all of this musical content. Then the work begins, which is really how to, deciding what I want to keep, what I don't want to keep, how to shape it. The element of time is an advantage in composition. Improvisation, it is what it is in the moment, And I guess you compose and you write about the things, that matter to you. The sound is a reflection of the story, yeah. I'm very, very passionate about the idea that music should serve to reveal, not to conceal. That's kind of a predominant line in everything that I compose. Somehow I have all of this information and all of this experience of what Venezuela, has gone through in the last 24 years. And with music, I'm able to translate those ideas and that information into an emotional language, which people, they kind of accept it or they receive it in a different way than just giving, statistics and numbers and just, journalistic, let's say, evidence of what's happened. Music is a language that is, of course, very emotional. I'm very passionate about using it to tell stories, real stories, truthful stories.